On American Jurisprudence, 2D edition. We have the complete 2 CD-ROM set of American Jurisprudence, second edition available at a significant discount of under $300. The CD-ROM set contain all 132 volumes with an easy-to-use search tool which captures, stores and prints search result lists, tag records by user-chosen ranges, simple toolbar commands, and a quick reference included for easy operation. Plus much more. Current volumes sell for over $4,000, but through a special purchase we have a limited supply on hand. This is a must tool for anyone serious in protecting their assets and or avoiding liability of ownership through the use of common law entities in a statutory law world. This addition to your library will add confidence to anyone using common law, or a combination of common, statutory law entities, in pursuit of personal or business asset protection in today's frivolous lawsuit environment. Contact us direct for current pricing and availability. Sample Business Trust, American Jurisprudence, 2D edition, Volume 13, Business Trusts. Incomplete. Only pages 371 to 458 reproduced here. View the last 10 pages on the subject at your local law library. Business Trusts. Scope of topic. This article considers the business or Massachusetts trust, an organization created voluntarily by a trust instrument whereby trustees manage the trust estate for the benefit of holders of transferable certificates representing their proportionate interests and rights in the proceeds and corpus of a trust estate. Matters treated include the creation, organization, and duration of a business trust, the nature, attributes, and liability of the trust estate, shareholders, members, or cestuous K trustant, and their rights, shares, and liabilities ties, trustees, officers, and agents of such a trust, and their powers, rights and liabilities, taxation and governmental regulation of business trusts, the termination, dissolution, reorganization, and merger of such trusts, and practice and procedure in cases involving business trusts, insofar as peculiarly relevant or distinctively applied to such trusts. Treated elsewhere or other forms of business organizations, see such topics as 6MUR. 2D, associations and clubs, corporations, foreign corporations, joint stock companies, partnership. Federal aspect. Business trusts are subject to bankruptcy proceeding and may be reorganized in bankruptcy, see 9MUR 2D, bankruptcy. Plus table of parallel references CPV. Plus I. Definitions and nature. Validity A. In general, sections 1 to 7b. Other organizations and relationships compared. And distinguished, sections 8 to 12, 2 creation, organization, and duration, sections 13 to 21, 3. Shares and certificates, sections 22 to 29, IV shareholders, members, OR cestuous K trustant A. In general, sections 30, 31b. Rights and powers, sections 32, 33c. Liability for trust debts and obligations, sections 34 to 40d. Rights and liabilities inter se, sections 41, 42v. Trustees, officers, and agents A. In general, sections 43 to 48b. Powers and functioning, sections 49 to 60c. Duties and liabilities, sections 61 to 73v. Liability of trust estate, and availability of trust property to creditors, sections 6, 74, 767. Regulation, sections 77 to 82, 8. Taxation A. In general, sections 83 to 86b. Federal taxes, sections 87 to 91, ix. Termination and dissolution, sections 92 to 94, x. Receivership, reorganization or merger, sections 95 to 97. 371. Business trusts 13MUR 2D. 11 Practice and procedure. A. Actions between trust and third persons, sections 98 to 103b. Shareholders' actions, sections 104 to 107. I. Definitions and nature. Validity. A. In general. Section 1. Definitions and Terminology Section 2. Origin and Development of Business Trusts Section 3. Nature and Attributes Section 4. As a legal entity Section 5. Advantages and Disadvantages of Business Trusts Form of Organization Section 6. Validity of, and efficacy as, business trust Section 7. What law governs? B. Other organizations and relationships compared and distinguished. Section 8. Generally Section 9. Corporations Section 10. Partnerships Section 11. Tests for determining true nature of organization. Control test, Section 12. Joint stock companies. 2. Creation, organization, and duration Section 13. General Section 14. The Trust Instrument Section 15. Construction Section 16. Recording Section 17. Amendment Section 18. Name and Seal Section 19. Bylaws Section 20. Purpose or Business Section 21. Duration. 3. Shares and Certificates Section 22. Generally Section 23. Classes of shares. Participation Agreements Section 24. Subscription or Purchase Section 25. Effective fraud, misrepresentation, or violation of law, generally Section 26. What amounts to fraud or misrepresentation Section 27. Transfer or Pledge Section 28. Effectuation of transfer Section 29. Bequest or Inheritance. IV shareholders, members, or cestuous KTRUSTENT. A. In general. Section 30. Generally Section 31. Eligibility. B. Rights and powers. Section 32. Generally Section 33. Proprietary interests. 372. 13 MU or 2D Business Trusts. C. Liability for trust debts and obligations. Section 34. Generally Section 35. Liability for torts Section 36. Nature and degree of control sufficient to impose liability Section 37. Provisions of trust instrument or contract negativing or limiting liability Section 38. Effective notice or lack of notice Section 39. Sufficiency of notice Section 40. Contractual limitations, recitals, and references. D. Rights and liabilities inter se. Section 41. Generally Section 42. Contribution. V. Trustees, officers, and agents A. In general. Section 43. Generally. Eligibility Section 44. Status Section 45. Designation or election. Term of office Section 46. Compensation Section 47. Right to reimbursement or indemnity Section 48. Resignation, removal, or replacement, death or disability. B. Powers and functions 1. In general. Section 49. Generally Section 50. Manner of functioning by trustees. Unanimous, joint, or individual action Section 51. Delegation of powers. Appointment of officers and agents Section 52. Ratification or acquiescence by trustees Section 53. Knowledge or dereliction of trustees is imputable to trust. 2. Particular powers and function. Section 54. Making contracts and incurring debts, generally Section 55. Acquisition, administration, and disposition of trust property Section 56. Leases and encumbrances Section 57. Sales and conveyances Section 58. Making and issuing evidences of indebtedness Section 59. Compromise and settlement of claims Section 60. Assessments. C. Duties and liabilities 1. To the trust and shareholders. Section 61. Generally. Fiduciary relationship Section 62. Care and skill required. Liability for negligence or misconduct Section 63. Trustee dealing individually with trust or shareholders Section 64. Sale of trustees' property to trust Section 65. Rights in property or benefits acquired by trustee. 2. To third persons. Section 66. Generally Section 67. Debts and contracts Section 68. Torts Section 69. Agreements with creditors as to immunity or liability of trustees, indication of. Representative capacity. 373. Business trusts 13 MUR 2D. Section 70. Trust instrument provisions as to liability or trustee. Section 71. Effect and sufficiency of notice. 3. Rights and liabilities of trustees inter se, liability. For acts of other trustees. Section 72. Individual rights and liabilities of trustees inter se. Section 73. Liability for acts or defaults of co-trustees, predecessors, or successors. V. Liability of trust estate, and availability of trust property to creditors. Section 74. Generally. Section 75. Effect of stipulations regarding liability. Section 76. Trustees' right to indemnity or reimbursement is available to creditors. 7. Regulation. Section 77. Generally. Section 78. Under statutes relating to corporations. Generally. Section 79. Under statutes relating to foreign corporations. Section 80. Under Blue Sky Laws and Securities Act. Section 81. Consequences of, and who may assert, violation of statute. Section 82. Federal Securities Acts. 8. Taxation A. In general. Section 83. Generally. Section 84. Taxation as partnership or corporation. Generally. Section 85. Franchise or excise tax. Section 86. Taxation of shares or dividends. B. Federal taxes. Section 87. Generally. Section 88. Tests to determining whether trust is association. Section 89. Business test. Section 90. Corporate similitude. Use of corporate forms or procedures. Section 91. Terms of trust instrument or activities of trustees. Extermination and dissolution. Section 92. Generally. Section 93. Grounds for, and circumstances warranting, equitable action and relief. Section 94. Scope of equitable relief. X. Receivership, reorganization or merger. Section 95. Receivership. Section 96. Reorganization or merger. Generally. Section 97. Incorporation, merger with, or transfer to, corporation. 11. Practice and procedure A. Actions between trust and third persons. Section 98. Generally. Jurisdiction and venue. Section 100. Parties defendant. 374. 13 MUR 2D Business Trusts. Section 1. Section 101. Process. Section 102. Pleading and proof. Section 103. Trial and judgment. B. Shareholders' actions. Section 104. Generally. Section 105. Representative or derivative actions. Generally. Section 106. Proper or necessary parties. Section 107. Accounting. I. Definitions and nature. Validity. A. In general. Section 1. Definitions and terminology. One of the distinctive devices by means of which individuals may combine their resources to operate a business for profit is the so-called business trust, or Massachusetts Trust. One which may be comprehensively defined as an unincorporated business organization created by an instrument by which property is to be held and managed by trustees for the benefit and profit of such persons as may be or may become the holders of transferable certificates evidencing the beneficial interest in the trust estate. Point 2. Such an organization has also been frequently termed a common law trust. 3. But this phrase is not descriptive of any of the peculiar characteristics of such organizations. Point 4. Business trusts are excluded from the coverage of the restatement of the law of trusts, wherein it is pointed out that the business trust is a special kind of business association and can best be dealt with in connection with other business associations. Point 5. Under the Uniform Commercial Code, the term organization, unless the context otherwise requires, is defined to include a business trust. Point 6. 1. So called because this type of organization has reached its fullest and most extensive use in that state. Goldwater vs. Oltmann, 210 Cal 408, 292 P 624, 71 ALR 871. 2. Annotation. 156 ALR 27. The Supreme Court of the United States has defined the Massachusetts Trust as a form of business organization, common in that state, consisting essentially of an arrangement whereby property is conveyed to trustees, in accordance with the terms of an instrument of trust, to be held and managed for the benefit of such persons as may from time to time be the holders of transferable certificates issued by the trustees showing the shares into which the beneficial interest in the property is divided. Hecht vs. Malley, 265 U.S. 144, 68 L. ed. 949, 44 S. Court 462. A trust of this nature is created when several persons transfer the legal title in property to trustees, with power vested in the latter to manage and control the property and business and to pay the profits of the enterprise to the creators of the trust or their successors in interest. Goldwater vs. Oltmann, 210 Cal 408, 292 P 6214, 71 ALR 871. 3. C. For instance, Brown v. Donald Tex. Civ App 216 SW2D 679, State Ex Rel. Calvin v. Payne. 137 Wash 566, 243 P2, 247 P 476, 46 ALR 163. 4. Willie vs. W. J. Hobson Corp. 90 Florida 343, 106 408. The basis for the terminology, common law trust, in this connection, is not that such organizations are the creatures of the common law, as distinguished from equity, but that they are created under the common law of contracts and do not depend upon any statute. Schumann Henk vs. Folsom, 328 IL 321, 159 NA 250, 58 ALR 485. 5. Restatement, Trusts 2D Section 1. Comment B. Wherein it is further explained that although many of the rules applicable to trusts are applied to business trusts, yet many of the rules are not applied, and there are other rules which are applicable only to business trusts. It is appropriate to treat business trusts on a somewhat different basis than private trusts. Swartz vs. Share, 344 Mass 636, 184 NE 2D 51, citing restatement. 6. Uniform Commercial Code Section 1 to 201, 28. For a list of jurisdictions which have 375, Section 2 Business Trusts 13 Amur 2D. Section 2. Origin and Development of Business Trusts. The application of trust principles to the conduct of commercial enterprise is said to have originated in Massachusetts as a result of inability to secure corporate charters for acquiring and developing real estate without a special act of the legislature. 7 Also, it has been said that the type of organization commonly denominated Massachusetts Trust originated because of the hostility of some states toward corporations and out of a desire to secure some of the advantages of incorporation without incurring the burdens and restrictions thereto. 8 In any event, the Massachusetts Trust has reached its fullest development and use in that state. 9. The jurisprudence on the subject has grown up in comparatively recent years, although the law reports contain several instances of the use of this form of commercial enterprise more than a century ago. 10 As certain inherent advantages 11 of the business trust over the other forms of commercial enterprise gained recognition, it was adopted to a wide range of business operations. Many large and well-known concerns have carried on their businesses under this form of organization. 12 And it is interesting to note that the popular use of the term trust in connection with monopolies and combinations in restraint of trade, is traceable to the employment of the business trust form of organization by some of the best known of such combinations. 13. Section 3. Nature and Attributes. The distinctive features of the business trust are indicated in the definition thereof. 14 It is unincorporated. Although for the purposes of regulatory statutes or by express statutory inclusion it is sometimes treated as a corporation for certain purposes. 15 It is created by the voluntary act of the parties and is based on contract. It is intended for the purpose of carrying on some kind of business or commercial activity for profit. Indeed, the profit-making function is one of the most significant characteristics of the business trust. Title to the capital of the organizations vested in trustees. 16 Who usually manage the affairs of the trust. The beneficial interests in the trust estate and in the profits are evidenced by transferable certificates, similar to corporate shares. 17 And the existence or life of the organization is not affected by the death or disability of a member or shareholder or by the sale or transfer of his interest. 18. Adopted the Uniform Commercial Code, CAM Your 2DDESK Book, Document 130 and Sup. Annotation 156 ALR 13. 7. State Street Trust Company vs. Hall, 311 Mass 299, 41 NE 2D 30, 156 ALR 29. Annotation 156 ALR 29. 8. Goldwater vs. Oldman, 210 Cal 408, 292 P 624, 71 ALR 871. 9. Goldwater v. Oldman, Supra, Schumann Henk vs. Folsom, 328 IL 321, 159 NA 250, 58 ALR 485, Lindeke Land Co. V. Kalman, 190 Min 601, 252 Northwest 650, 93 ALR 1393, Baker v. Stern, 194 WIS 233, 216 Northwest 147, 58 ALR 462. 10. Ward vs. Davis, 5 NY Super Court, 3 Sandif 502, Trust created in 1836 Yeaman v. Galveston City Co. 106 Tex 309, 167 SW 710, Trust organized in 1837, Durkee vs. Stringham, 8 WIS 1, Trust organized 1837. Annotation 156 ALR 29. 11. Section 5, Infra. 12. Annotation 156 ALR 29, listing some of these organizations. 13. The Standard Oil Trust was involved in Rice vs. Rockefeller, 134 NY 174, 31 NA 907, and in State Ex Rel. Watson vs. Standard Oil County 49 Ohio Street 137, 30 NA 279. The Sugar Trust was involved in People v. North River Sugar Ref. Co. 121 NY 582, 24 NA 834. 14. Section 1, Supra. 15. Section 78 et seq. 84 et seq. Infra. 16. Sections 55, Infra. 17. Section 22, Infra. 18. Sections 27, 29, Infra. 376. 13 MUR 2D Business Trusts Section 4. Basically, a business trust has been said to be merely the application of an ordinary trust to the purpose of operating a commercial enterprise. When an express trust is so used, it is known as a business trust. 19 Accordingly, equitable principles governing trust estates generally underlie business trusts as well. 20 Although business trusts and ordinary trusts are not always governed by the same principles. 1 And in some respects, business trusts closely resemble both partnerships and corporations. 2 Aside from any question of mere terminology, some courts treat business trusts as partnerships for the purpose of determining the liability of shareholders for the debts of the trust. 3 However, regardless of its similarity to an ordinary trust, to a partnership, and to a corporation, the general opinion is that the business trust should be regarded as sui generis. 4. It must be remembered that the nature and legal status of a business trust is not an absolute and invariable factor, but depends to a large degree upon the purpose for which the inquiry is made and upon the direction from which the matter is approached. 5 And it has been said that the character of such a trust is to be determined from the trust instrument. 6 The essential nature of a business trust is not affected by the smallness of the number of participants. 7 Nor by the limited scope of its business. Section 4. As a legal entity, there is a difference of opinion on the question whether a Massachusetts or business trust is a distinct legal entity. Some courts answer the question in the affirmative. 8 And some statutes designate or recognize the organization as a. 19. Goldwater v. Oldman, 210 Cal 408, 292 p. 624, 71 ALR 871. Annotation. 156 ALR 28, 30. Because a new use is being made of the trust does not mean new principles of law are to be applied in determining the rights of the trustees, the Cestuus K. Trust or persons dealing with the trustees. Schumann Henk vs. Folsom, 328 ill 321, 159 nay 250, 58 ALR 485. 20. McCamey v. Hollister Oil Co. Tex Civ App. 241 SW 689, AFFD 115 Tex 49, 274 SW 562. 1. Section 8, Infra. 2. It has been said that a business trust is hybrid in nature, savoring of both corporation and partnership. Oklahoma Fuller's Earth Company vs. Evans, 179 Okla 124, 64 P2D 899. Such organizations have been referred to as partnerships which masquerade as corporations. Hoey vs. Coleman, C. 46F 221. 3. Section 34, Infra. 4. Thame vs. Soundview Pulp Company, 181 Wash 1, 42 P2D 19. A business trust is a distinct form of organization, which for some purposes, must be differentiated from both ordinary partnerships and corporations. State Street Trust Co. v. Hull, 311 Mass 299, 41 NE 2D 30, 156 ALR 13. See also 37 Yale LJ 1119. As to distinctions concerning corporations and partnerships, see sections 911, Infra. 5. C. Burke Wagoner Oil Assoc. v. Hopkins D.C. 296 F 492, AFFD 269 U.S. 110, 70 L. ed. 183, 46 S. Court 48. 6. Re-Associated Trust D.C. 222 F 1012. Practice Aids. Trust instrument provision as to character of organization. 3 Muir Legal Forms 3. 1, 312. 7. Helvering v. Coleman Gilbert Associates, 296 U.S. 369, 80 Led 278, 56 S. Court 283. These cases involved federal taxation. 8. Helvering v. Combs, 296 U.S. 365, 80 L. ed. 275, 56 S. Court 287. 9. National City Finance Company vs. Lewis, Cal App 3P2D 316, Ray Den 4P2D 163, and superseded 216 Cal 254, 14P2D 298, Bylan v. Cranon Dado, 350 IL 284, 183 Nay 330, Hemphill v. Orloff, 238 Mish 508, 213 Northwest 867, 58 ALR 507, AFFD 277 US 537, 72 L. ed. 978, 48 S. Court. 577. Annotation. 156 ALR 32. A business trust has been said to be a quasi-legal entity, separate and distinct from the members who compose it. Brown v. Bedell, 263 NY 177. 188 Nay 641, Ray Den 264 NY 453, 191 Nay 510, Motion Den 264 NY 513, 191 Nay 541. A common law trust association has been held to be capable of taking and holding title to property, so as to support a conviction of its employee for embezzlement. Ridge v. State, 192 Ein 639, 137 Nay 7.